You know, that's what I'm thinking about.
Pour it up. Yeah. Wake up the world, it's a brand new flow. Stories are brewing with Joe. Pull up a seat, let your truth unfold. Real talk, real hearts, real souls. It's coffee and conversations with Joe, where your voice has room to grow. No judgment, just love that flows. Coffee and conversation.
Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing? It's your boy Joe Lockett. I'm live at the Filter Coffee Parlor this morning with another show of Coffees and Conversation. Y'all got your coffee? Y'all know what I got. I got a cup of Joe this morning, of course. How y'all doing? Where y'all chiming in at? Okay, Birmingham. We in Birmingham, Alabama. Where y'all chiming in at? What you drinking this morning? What's in your cup? This an espresso with some turmeric and some honey in it. Y'all know my favorite. For whatever reason, I love this on ice. Today I got an exciting guest, y'all. Most of y'all probably have no idea who he is if you're on social media a lot. But the ones that are not on social media who know this guy, every time I heard his name, people know him. Now let me be real. I never thought that people will be known if they're not on social media. So when this guest that I got now today, I got to talk to him about, not being on social media, but everybody still knows you. Okay, he don't have a digital footprint for real. Now you want to be able to go out there and I'm gonna tell y'all right now. When I tell y'all his name, I want you to go out there and do your Google best. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and Google, YouTube him, and see what you can find. I don't think you're gonna find much because I got one of the best teams in the world. They couldn't find a whole lot. Found a little bit of something. But y'all let me know what you find, okay? Who am I talking about? The man, the myth, the mystery sometimes, the legend, the father, a president. A guy who's making moves behind the scenes that you see, but you don't know that he's doing them. The one and only, Mr. Andre Swain. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having me.
How's it going this morning, man?
Hey, it's lovely. It's beautiful outside. At least it's cold. But
Andre, what's up with the cold weather, man?
I don't know.
Is it your fault? Because, man, you both got bald head. So what's going on?
I don't know. Look, generally, so there's a statement. Every time I go to California, people tell me to bring the rain, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
Maybe when I'm here at home in Alabama, maybe I bring the cold, right? But at least it's shining. We got the bling going on, so it's good.
Welcome to the show, man. So go ahead and so what all do you do?
Yeah, so I work for a nonprofit. The company is called Lifting As We Climb Foundation.
Okay.
I'm the president of that company. I lead a bunch of people. We are a nonprofit that's in the community, and we focus on a few different things: mentoring. We'll do financial literacy. We'll work on it's like workforce development, readiness. But we're primarily working in the community and underserved communities is what I like to say.
Right.
Around that. But basically working with our people, just really helping. But our cornerstone thing that we really love to work with is the youth. Really being at the schools and the classrooms, out in the community, talking with the young men and women about what's really going on.
Were you born in Birmingham, Alabama?
I was born in Childersburg, right? So I was born in a city. My birth is Sylacauga, Alabama. So
okay.
I pride myself on being a country boy. I'll tell you, I'm a country boy, true to heart. Outside of that had one of those little simple upbringings. I still live out in the country. I pass the chickens and the hog and the cows and all the other stuff like that on my way through. But
he's telling the story. He's not telling the truth here. Okay, Andre, put your hand out.
Everybody talking about the smoothness of my hands too. They tell me I don't do any work.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You said what now? See, dudes like you in school, I did not like y'all because you was a red bone dude. They took all the girls and dog shit guys that come into later. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had all the women.
So I'll be sure we back.
Yeah. But I don't want to hear that from you, bro. I don't want to hear that. Even before we get in this interview, let me tell you something, Andre. I don't really like you. Okay? I got a problem with you since high school.
I understand, my friend.
So, two-parent household?
Yep, two-parent household. We have two kids, boy and a girl. Outside of that, and so yeah, the challenges of childhood, right? Raising your kids, and then now that you're
I'm talking about you.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have two kids. I'm married. I have and we have a boy and a girl. So that's and we still live in Childersburg.
Right. No, I'm talking about your mom and dad.
My mom. Yep. So my mom, growing up, me personally. So I'm a product of a single mother. My dad wasn't really in my life growing up.
Okay.
Luckily for me, I had some incredible grandparents.
Okay.
And my grandparents were involved with me. Like, I was one of those kids, believe it or not. I'm a bit of an academic, and I was identified as a we had gifted class, right? So I was gifted outside of that, and so I was getting in trouble in school all the time. And yeah, right, I'm one of those guys. And what they said was, you got to find constructive things for him to do because he's just bored, and that's why he's acting out and doing all these things in the classroom. And so my grandmother took the reins. I was a childhood model. I had to take piano lessons.
Stop the interview. This is, I told y'all. See, this is what I've been telling y'all the whole doggone time, right?
Yeah,
something I want to say, but I can't say the word.
I understand. Yeah, it's the light skinned green eyes, right?
Yeah. I'm just gonna say yes.
No, but the cool part about that is, it was a punishment for me to start learning how to play music, and I still play piano. I play in the church today as much as I can.
Okay.
But I go to music lessons, right, for the first time. I'm on punishment, and I go to music lessons, and when I walk into music lessons, it was just full of girls, and I was like, heaven. So I've been doing music and other stuff like that, and so that led to talents, different things of me working through different pieces of it. Right. So yeah, right. Going through that side of it, but no. So that was growing up. My grandmother been heavily involved,
okay.
And just really being there by my side. My mom got married right later, like afterwards. So I was born before she got married, and my stepdad was in the military. So big part of my childhood was in Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not, yeah. So I grew up in Alaska, and being a military kid from that perspective. So I really learned I can talk to a rock is what I'll tell people. I travel a lot now, and there are places I go to that I'm never just not comfortable. So
I can tell.
I just sit down, have a good time. I enjoy life, and that made me real resilient, right, from a military perspective. So,
if you guys are liking it right now, we're talking to the one and only Mr. Swain. He's in the building. I don't like him. Just so y'all know. Okay. I'm still mad at him since high school. Now he's sitting and told me that he was a model and he was in a classroom full of women when I was with music. So that don't make you no better, my friend, today, bro. I'm just being honest with you.
Hey, you can always go through the same things I went through, my friend.
No. I don't have green eyes. Okay, I ain't had a light skin. Like I said, if it wasn't for Wesley Snipes, bro, it wasn't for Wesley. Wesley brought us back. Then Denzel came on.
Okay, Denzel.
Okay, Denzel, yeah, them brothers brought us back, man. But high school, bro, you had it all. Okay,
we good.
But let's go here.
Yes.
So you said when you were a kid, your father wasn't there. Mom, you had stepdad.
Correct.
Okay. So did that kind of shape you in any kind of way for what you're doing now? Like having an absentee dad, not saying that, because I don't know the story and don't want to say anything wrong about your father, but did that shape you in any kind of way? Like, I want to be better for my kids and kids.
Absolutely. It changed my viewpoint of fatherhood. As a father, I believed in being involved, staying connected, being and doing everything I can for my own kids, because quite frankly, that was something that I didn't have, right? Literally, like, think about it. You're a kid, you're growing up, and I was good academically, athletically. I played basketball, football. Back then, we could let in forward sports, right?
Yeah.
So, but what I was doing at that point was I'm looking at these kids and they have their moms and their fathers. They're out there, they're bringing them to practice. They're not having to catch a ride with somebody. You don't know how you're going to get home later, right? Or if you're going to be able to make practice tomorrow, or those other things. And so the struggles of being, having a single mom and what they have to go through, because she had to work, she had to take care of us. It was two brothers in the house, so there was three of us that was there. So she had to work to do everything to take care of us. So not having it. So I envied those things. I looked at that, those guys that I felt like they had it all, right, from that point of view. And so that shaped me because it changes my mindset. It allows me to walk in and have a conversation with a young man or a young woman, I think, and really kind of bring like a realism
Mm.
and like a way to have empathy and connect with a young person, because you know what, I came from that thing as well, right? You know, what is it? I think R. Kelly used to say, if I can say that, you know, back then y'all used to call me stink, but now you know what I mean? Right, so that part, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's those types of things of, you know, when I go back and look at those, what my history was, that just added the seasoning, the flavor, right,
Makes
to
sense.
the character and the person
That
that I
makes
am
sense.
today. And so that's why I can walk into a room and look at anybody and sit down and talk and just be me, right?
Right.
Unapologetically, just me.
I love that. So you grew up, you was in high school in 1980s,
No, wow, no.
90s,
I graduated high school in '94. Yeah,
94. Okay,
yeah.
okay,
So it
okay.
was the '90s, so early '90s,
So
right
90s,
to
okay.
'94.
Well, I'm
Correct.
80, so that's why.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So,
I'm trying to put you up there with me.
you get. I crossed over into the '90s. So,
Okay.
but no, I'm a graduate of Chisholm
Okay.
High School of class
Okay.
of 1994.
So, you know, during your time, you know, there were crimes, there was things going on.
Absolutely. Yes.
There was a lot of things for us, you know, kids getting in trouble
Yes.
in high school, gangs
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Yep.
Recently here in Birmingham, Alabama, I think it was like over the weekend.
Yeah.
There was a shooting investment at an
Mhm.
Amazon plant. I'm going to play a clip here.
Okay.
I'm on the show. And I want to talk about it a little bit after. And I also have a good friend of mine calling to the show on radio TV personality, Isis Jones.
Okay.
And I want to kind of discuss that with you today. If
Yeah.
you don't mind.
Let's do that. That's great.
All right. So when we see that,
Yeah.
what do you think? You know, hearing that a 19-year-old, and I have some people that I sort of kind of know the family.
Mhm.
This young man went to work.
Yeah.
And, you know, every mother say that their son or daughter was a good kid.
Good kid. Yeah.
Right. He didn't make it home, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Your mentorship,
Yep.
right, that you're doing. How important for parents to get their kids involved? How important is for you to figure out so we don't keep having these different things happen in our community? How important is that for you?
It's extremely important. Like, mentoring matters more than what people really think that it does.
Mhm.
And we're not like motivational speakers, anything else like that. The
Mhm.
part I like to say is that we work in the story of building beliefs,
Mhm.
right? Really getting a youth to have belief and believe in themselves, and working in that. And so when you do that, when you develop that belief
Mhm.
around certain things, you start to realize and go, okay, you know what? Like, what I say, what I do, my plans,
Mhm.
they actually matter, right? And understanding the power of what that belief is even more important, because, so believe this or not, like, so I'll say this to you: belief without a plan is going to fail, right?
Mhm.
But if you have a plan with no beliefs, it never starts. So we have to let our youth know that dreams matter. And so when we work in that, we start working around beliefs. And let's talk about that, right? Because when we start talking about violence and other stuff, the things that we get in and we start talking about immediately is de-escalation, conflict resolution.
Mhm.
Well, at the core of anything before we make action, take action on anything else, and we talk like this, think about this. So if the power and the strength of just understanding that it's strength when I can pause,
Mhm.
think, then speak, do, or say whatever. Understanding that I'm actually gaining control,
Mhm.
not necessarily losing control. That's a true power move. So if I really want to be a true king, a power player, or
Mhm.
anything else in a young man or woman, like, and where do you get to that point where you
the cheerleading moms, there are people who stand in the gap because it does take a village. To think that you can do this by yourself is, I think, a bad thought to begin with as a parent. Um, whether you have, children collectively, in the sense of you have a mother and a father in the household, sometimes it's just moms who are kind of going through this to a large degree. I mean, I'll keep it, 100 in that regard. And it's unfortunate because there's no real direction. And as he said of before, if you, don't have a plan, a lot of this is going to fail, and you have to be honest about the conversation with these parents as well. Is that the parent usually doesn't have a full plan in effect, even for their child. And unfortunately, if you feel like you can do it all by yourself, and better yet, this child has reached a certain age, you feel like this child should be, adult enough to handle certain situations. And unfortunately, if that development has ceased at a certain level, and better yet, you're not basically showing these things in your household all the time, and you're not having mentors like the gentleman here to actually reinforce those, that's a problem. So first and foremost, admitting you need some help, and not just from the state, and not just from, the incarceration system, but basically starting with your children really early, because you know as well as I do, the development ages for delinquency start very young. And unfortunately, this, from what I understand of this young man, he was sweet, he was kind, and he was, probably raised up in a beautiful family, in the sense of his mother giving him as much love as he possibly can. But at some point in time, there was a conversation with outside influences that may have turned, for whatever reason, toxic. And unfortunately, you're already in the middle of it. Now, again, I know that the new parenting is a little bit different. And I applaud parents who are able to actually sit back and say, hey, I need to know who your little friend is, before they come over to the house or before you go out. But at 18 and 19, you kind of like, you allow them to be adults, and sometimes it's still reinforcing those conversations. Even at my age, my mom still tells me certain things, and I know that most of the, I don't think there's any parent or mother out there, or, or father who wants their child to fail in any stretch of the imagination. You're doing the best you possibly can to implement them with as much information. But I have to admit, there are a lot of households who don't have that structure.
Right.
So by the time that child reaches 18 and 19, the set of their life has been kind of set.
Yeah.
So when you're moving into different programs, even introducing your child to a program like this is one of those things that can help, bring the village in to help you kind of navigate this system, because there are tools that these people have that you as a parent may not basically have. When these children drop down on this earth, they don't have a manual with them, okay? And you can't sit there and figure that out. So sometimes you have to really set into it yourself that you're going to give this child as much of a chance as you possibly can. And that means also getting them around people, and especially young boys, men, who can actually help them navigate these emotions and show them where they're. I know a number of different programs in Georgia as well as St. Louis, brothers who are doing some amazing work with these young men in the sense of just showing them a difference. And I'm a firm believer that if you don't know any better, you're not going to do any better. And we have to expose our children to these different pieces and mindsets. And you see how it's worked over the years, how one simple person with a different mindset, a different perspective, and better yet, a better one to help you navigate this stuff, actually turns a delinquent young man into a prosperous man and further leader in his community. So these are the pieces. And as far as the disconnect, it is the ability to actually see that your child needs help and actually getting them help.
Okay.
And it may not be a psychiatrist, it may not be a coach. It definitely is one of those pieces where you understand that mentorship programs like this exist. So if you do, research it, go say hi, drop them off for a day. You know, whatever the case may be, you know, we're all kind of, you know, don't be afraid to give your child better, but do the research, and better yet, you know, check up as you should. But if you don't have time for that, then don't be surprised when it comes off the rails. Does that make sense?
You know, Isis, you make a really good point, because what I hear from both of y'all, right? No matter what y'all do, we do. If it's not the parent who understands the vision for your child, right? It's not really going to work at all. Or when you see your child veering off the path, you have to reach out to an organization, right? Because to get the organization to get to the kid got to come to the organization, because you don't know who the kid is, right?
Yep.
Isis can be on the radio, on TV. I can be on radio, on this podcast, on radio, on TV, and we're talking about it. But the disconnect is always the kid sits, like you look at this table, right? The kid sits here. You're here, we're here, Isis is there. The kid's right there where all the problem is, and then we hear about it. They're in their little environment, like Isis said, where whatever didn't happen, they wasn't introduced to any of us. Now there's a problem. Now we're sitting about on Channel 6 News, and now we're sitting here on Coffees and Conversations with the great Andre and the great Isis Jones and Joe Lockett. We're sitting here talking about it again and again and again. I'm gonna be honest, Andre. I'm tired of it.
I hear you. So one of the things, and this is like, I always say a strong defense is a better offense. So having that good offense for us is partnering more with the school systems, right? With Birmingham City, Jefferson, Shelby County area schools, and getting in and going to go and talk to those kids. And we're starting to understand that, you know, before we were saying, okay, we want to go between like 9 and 12-year-old, ninth graders, 12th graders, but we're going like, now we need to go into like middle schools and start from a 5th grade to an 8th grade perspective. And there's been some schools that we've been able to get into that had some elementary, you know, they were like 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, being able to go and talk to them. But we're understanding like that dynamic of being able to be impactful to a young man or young lady by being able to go meet them where they are, so that the schools, right, the cities, those education systems that are taking the time to go and say, you know what, this is important, just as important as our curriculum and academic excellence. We also need to be worried about and think about their mental health, right? And Isis she said some good nuggets there. It takes a village, right? The country boy in me definitely, right? It took a village to raise me, or you say with my smooth hands and everything else. But it really takes a village. And those kids who may not come, because there are some stories like where we've helped young men who were lost, in trouble, everything else. Home was not a good place, right? Sometimes, and I call a mama them, right, auntie or cousin or somebody that we got that may actually give a little bit more care about something that may want to get us involved in something else other than what we're in. But what they were going home to every day wasn't good. There's stories about a young man breaking into the school, basically go grab food so he can feed his siblings. Home was not a good situation. So when you're there and you go into these schools and you walk into that school and say, you know what, I want to show you something, and they show you the video of this person breaking in and all this other stuff, and you're sitting down and you're saying, well, what was the, but, and you're looking at it, well, what did he take? Where did he go? What did he grab? Why would you break into a school? But it gets in and goes straight to the cafeteria. Right. So there are indicators of that. Our teachers in our classroom, they see that, but they don't necessarily have the resources, right? As great as they are and as impactful they are, they still need more people a part of that village to help.
Let me ask Isis this before she goes. And I want, again, Isis, thank you so much for your time. But I want to ask you this. Isis, how tough is it right now for a single mom? Because I know you work with a lot of them to get through to their kids in 2026 especially young boys, raising their kids. How tough is it for a single mom to get one of their child into a mentoring program?
How tough is it to get into a mentoring program? Well, the first and foremost, you got to know it's there. Okay. And you would think with as much information as we have in our hands daily, that would be an easier task. But number one, knowing that your child needs help, and better yet, find the resources in which to be able to do that. Now, of course, you can Google, but there is a certain type of hesitancy because you just don't want to leave your child in anyone's hands. And some of us believe that we've done an amazing job with our kids, or better yet, we know that we haven't. So it's kind of deciphering that type of emotion, but more importantly, being able to sit here and say, okay, I think, like what the gentleman said, as far as the schools are concerned, is a great way to start, especially having that great relationship with your child's school. And sometimes that can be a deterrent because depending on the parent, their experience with, with education dictates how they basically deal with the education system. But I love the fact that we have, again, the village with our teachers and our counselors who are able to stand in the gap. I wish that there were more counselors and teachers who would take the step of saying, hey, can we introduce this child to this program? And, kind of pushing the point forward. But also, that gets a little exhausting as well. But it is a little difficult. I can't even imagine what most of these folks are going through. You have to actually take care of yourself, and depending on how many children you basically have, it's a lot. And to actually sit here and take care of yourself on a regular basis. So I do sympathize with the parents because, again, depending on your economical situation, it's very difficult. And you guys sit here and put first things first. Do I worry about putting you in a mentorship program? Do I have to pay for it? Especially if it's free, it's an amazing thing that that can be compounded on that. But it's first and foremost knowing the resources out there. So I applaud you both for being able to have that conversation today. But it's not easy by no stretch of the imagination. There are so many things that are working against single mothers, and that's not just in the African American community. It's across the board. And especially with young men, think about it. Okay, there's already a contention of there's no one else in this house that looks like me. And then on top of that, you have to take into context that this, young man is still learning himself and learning how to be a man. And if there's only a female in the house to maybe actually to help to navigate that, that's a little difficult. That's a little difficult. And so you can't really expect certain things. So if you want that other part of that young man to be displayed and to come out, you have to put him in the right environment. And knowing where those environments are that are successful and that are actually helping these young men is important. So again, I applaud you both for putting the information out there.
I just want to thank you so much for stopping by the show today.
Thank you.
Tell our audience where they can find you if they want to find you on social media.
You can always find me at Isis M. Jones on everything. That's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and my website. Gentlemen, you'll have a blessed day.
All right, but thank you guys. Love you.
Thank you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
All right. She said a lot there.
She did.
Now, get back to where we are.
Yep.
Your mentoring.
Yes.
How do we do the stuff we just discussed on this panel here today?
So,
and how do y'all do that?
So the way we've gone about it today is definitely partnering with schools, like getting in so earlier, right, and often as possible is the way that we think about that. Being able to get to them early, talk to them early, and really give them skills that are life skills, that be workforce skills, other stuff like that going forward. But using that. And so our forums have been, going to get involved in partnering with schools, doing things where we can do, whether it's a campus college tour, whatever it is, right? Kind of creating that elongated time of contact time and hours, and really getting the young man or woman to realize that, first of all, I respect you, right? And if you understand that I respect you and what you're thinking from a idea or opinion perspective matters, that means that you're going to engage with me. So I'm not talking at you or anything else or any kind of archaic forms, but you realize there's a median of respect. And then now you're going to engage and you're going to talk. And then from that point, we could establish a whole lot of things of trust and other stuff that we could build upon. But being involved, right? We're pushing for things like summer programs and other stuff like that. Whether it's different pieces of it, there are certain like grants and things. Because one of the things that ISIS talked about was that single mom or that parent worried about that it's going to cost them some money,
Right.
making sure that that's no cost to that parent, right? They don't have to endure the cost of that program, because there are avenues that we can go to get funding to do that, whether it's through the city of Birmingham or potentially through their school system associated with that. But looking at those avenues is so we can provide availability to parents and being able to create as many touch points as possible.
Professional.
Oh yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right. And I love it.
Yep.
Been doing this for years. You have too.
Yeah.
Everybody listen to it like, yep, that's it. Okay. This calls some conversations, Andre. I know this is probably the first time me and you actually sit down and have this conversation. Let's take that off the table.
Okay.
Why do you care?
I care because somebody cared about me. I am a product of a single parent, right? My mom did everything she could to provide. I had a very humble upbringing, right?
Okay.
And I never thought back then that I would be where I'm at today. Because, and one of the things I love to talk about is deprogramming this I can't mentality to I can. Because people that come up in a much more privileged situation than what we've had it, they believe that they can do anything, right? Their belief systems, their core values and everything else, they'll go open businesses, they'll go jump any adventure, right? But for us, the first thing we say is, oh, I can't do that, right? And that I don't know how to do that. I'm struggling. I don't really understand that. So how can we break down that barrier? So there are people that took a little bit of time, whether it's from my community, church, family, friend members, somebody. ISIS talked about little league coaches, like teachers. There are people there who actually took time to invest a little something in me. And we talked about this earlier, right? The greatest reward is when a kid comes into, oh, you did this for me back, right, and that helped me. And you don't really realize that you felt like you didn't do hardly anything.
Right.
I gave you some information.
Right.
Or yeah, I maybe did this or that, but I didn't realize how critical and impactful that small event was to that particular person. So it's that. So the reason why I care, getting back to that, answering that question, is because it was something that was given to me, right? And that enables me, and that gives me that desire to want to give back because there are things that were shared with me and given to me that had I not had those people around me, I don't really know what I would be doing today.
Let's go here. We're talking about our youth today here on Coffee and Conversations.
Yep.
We're talking about your nonprofit organization that does these things, mentorships, being in the communities. Great men, some of the men on your board and some of the men in your organization, I know them.
Yeah.
I have kids.
Okay.
I have two daughters.
All right.
Both are grown. You have
a boy and a girl. I have a daughter and a son. Yep.
How old are they?
So my son just turned 30, and my daughter is the year it is, she'll be 26 in September, so she's 25.
Okay, so your daughter, we about the same, because my daughter,
right,
one is 33, one is 23.
All right.
Everyone listening to the show today that have kids or have little kids growing up want the best for them. Absolutely. I don't know one parent that don't want the best for their kids.
Right.
Young man that lost his life over the weekend, 19 years old, went to work, not coming home. We hear this so much, Andre, in our communities, right? And it's like, okay, and we on to the next thing. But I don't know if we really understand what's really happening in our society. And I'm going here. We are desensitizing.
We are.
Our future. If you talk to they say the YNs is what they call them, but I say young men.
Yep.
Okay, I say YN.
Yep.
We cared about living when I was growing up.
We did.
In the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
I cared about getting old, right? this was inbred in me. I guess I didn't want to not come home. I didn't want to get in a fight and lose and don't care if I come home today.
Right.
If you talk to the YMs today, the young men today, some of them
don't care.
Something in this conversation and other conversations going on around the world in other municipalities and other communities, Andre. We're missing. We're missing because how can a young man that came from a mama and daddy that loves them, or a mama or a grandma or uncle or cousin that loves them, walk out the house and say, I don't care about going home today.
Correct.
I don't care if you take my life. America, it's a problem.
It is.
Can we get back to the day we care, or Andre? Is this a cycle that we have to go through?
So we can. The tagline is create a mindset shift, right? We've talked to young men, and I was at a school one day, and we're talking to some kids, and I think we're talking about financial mechanics and how money works, right? Just tools that we have in the toolbox. And we're sitting there, and next thing you know, I hear like noise, all this other stuff. So I'm thinking like, what's that? It's been a minute since I've seen a high school brawl.
Right.
And there's some young men that are out there fighting in the hallway, everything else. So as guys, you go through, we rush out and, want to get in, get separated, do everything else. And we begin to talk to the young men. And at that point, their values and their beliefs, what they view is so upside down that they're more thinking about the street cred or what happened there and making sure that that's more whole than them thinking about life or anything else. So they've given that more value in that conversation than life itself.
Right.
And so that's where we get in to start talking about like respectful disagreement.
Okay.
Like here's a great tool, and we as the mentors went through this by a fellow mentor as we was kind of sharpening tool type moments. We took an object and we all sat around in a circle and we set that object there. 360, we sat around it.
Okay.
This object has multiple dimensions and sides to it.
Okay.
We went around the circle and began to describe what did we visually see that object and gave our description of what it was. Okay. Well, I'm over here and I'm looking at it. You're there looking at it. Okay. You see something on your side that I can't see. Well, the moral of this, where I'm going with this is that just because I have a different view and I see it from a different angle doesn't mean that I'm wrong.
Right.
Right. And it's being able to respectfully disagree and understand that. What we're talking about is perception.
Okay.
All right. So when you can get to these young men and young women and talk to them about perception and changing that perception, because that's the root of where we're at. They have a perception problem. That's what's going on. That's why you don't value life over some other thing that's more ancillary, because life is finite. You don't get another one. This is not a video game where you get to go player, number 2, I respawn in and jump right back in this point to whatever game you're playing. You don't get another moment to jump back in and begin fighting and taking on again. No, I have this one life and I need to make sure that I take care of it and cherish and do something good with it. And that's perception. They have a perception problem.
I love what you're saying. I know a lot of people are probably watching the show right now and they're like, okay, I'm liking Andre right now. Okay, Andre's taking some ice game on Andre doing a little thumb talk. How can they get part of the organization?
So connect with us. We have our website, OmegaLAWCF.org.
Slow that down. People listen.
Gotcha. OmegaLAWCF.org.
Okay.
Connect to Lifting As We Climb website. You can sign up for sessions. Maybe you want to partner with us because we love having partnerships. Maybe you hear us today and you want to bring us into your school, your classroom, Yes, we want to come into your classroom, right? We definitely want to be on the offense, not the defensive side of it. But we've had those parents that says that send us an email or a note and says, you know, classic story. My child has repeatedly been in trouble. Okay. They're in juvenile detention. They're doing everything. They're in the system. Things are going well for that person, but now they're about to be released. And the worry of the parent was that they're about to come back to that ecosystem,
Right.
Right? Because we know better than the people that we have around us.
Right.
They're about to come back to that ecosystem.
Mhm.
And if we can't get him connected with somebody,
Mhm.
we're afraid that they're just going to go right back and they're going to reverse everything else that they've already learned. So we want parents, families, right, to engage with us, get involved with us, talk to us at events that we may have that we'll post that, bring your child out, whether whether they're doing stuff around STEM or we're doing fatherhood initiatives. Like one of the key things we did was think about this, talking to fathers about being fathers, right? A good friend of mine, there a couple of those guys, they started a thing called Brother Let's Talk. We'll be in a barbershop Sunday afternoon right here on the east side of Birmingham, and we're just in there just talking.
Right.
We're men and young men in there just talking because sometimes we just need to air it out.
Yeah.
Right. Create a safe zone so we can just go in here and just talk about the things, because as older guys, we ain't happy with what the young men are doing, right? Using your YM statement outside of that. And the young guys are saying, you talking at me, you don't know me, you don't understand me, you can't respect me. That part.
With that being said, I know we got to get out of here. Do you think, and I just want to speak for our young men, not the young women right now, I want to speak for our young men. Do you think that they feel we don't love them?
Ooh.
And the reason why I'm saying that, because
it's a loaded question, Joe.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Because if you know somebody love you,
yeah,
you love them back.
Right.
If you don't feel love, it's hard for you to love yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so you're angry with the world for whatever the case may be. And it's easier to say, I don't care.
Right.
Right. You know, I have a brand of coffee I call Love You First.
Right.
Right. And there's a reason why the word love, you first, right? That's a meaning behind it.
Yep.
I truly believe this, Andre, and I've said this many times. If the whole world was able to get on one accord for 3 seconds and say, I love you, the whole globe, it will be a cataclysmic change because of the energy that's there, right?
Yep.
I truly believe the magical power is in the voice.
Yeah.
And if everybody said at one time, I love you, everything in the world would change, the power, the energy, everything, it'd be a shift.
Yep.
Because love is an energy.
It is.
Hate is an energy.
It is.
Right?
It is.
And we either doing one or the other.
Correct.
Right? And
it's
I
movement.
think
It's going to transfer.
Exactly.
Correct.
And as we have a conversation over the coffee this morning and some tea, I truly think, with everything we're saying, what Isa said, what you said, and what I've said, if we get back to one simple thing, love.
Yeah.
Because when you love somebody, you're going to do the right thing by them.
Yep.
If I don't like you, right, I'm not. You got to love yourself before I can love you.
Yep.
Hurt people.
That's it. Facts. So I'll say this to you, Joe. The perception problem, right? The young men don't necessarily say that, they don't think that we don't love them. I'm going to say to you that they're in love with the wrong thing.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to tell you that, or it's the wrong person who they've put that respect and that love into, that they're looking up to. Like, this generation don't have any heroes. Seriously, they don't have heroes.
Yeah.
All right. And then it's important that those of us that are trying to do something or be something, kind of make ourselves available and give our time as a give back opportunity. But those young men, it's not that they don't think that we love them, it's that they're in love with potentially the wrong thing. I use an example. We had a mentor, a young man, come in and talk to some kids, and he was going through talking about his situation. And he did a stint in juvie, right? And he actually was shot a couple times. And he talked about the day that all of that stuff went down. I'm out with my boys. We got all this other stuff. We're into something, and something pops off, and there's some friction between them and another group of people. I'm making sure I keep it high level here so I don't say who or what.
Thank you.
So this young man goes home. All right. Everything else is good. The other young man, right, because he loved him, right? He at a home with his parents, right? He loved this other young man. This guy is whatever, values, beliefs are all a little screwed up, doing something else. Now he's running from them, the cops, everything else like that. Reaches out to his friend because you my boy, you can't let me down. Right? I need you. All right. See what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Leaves the house. Leaves the house to go help this guy. Takes a couple bullets for this guy.
Right.
Goes to juvenile. Right? Goes to jail.
Bad choices.
Bad choices. Because he was too caught up in, no, that's my boy.
You gotta hate, yeah. Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we talk about which way that love is facing, I say it's a lot, right?
Like you said, it's a heavy-handed question. And it won't be answered here on the show.
No, that's a big debate.
And I want to go here and leave us here because I want people to know that you are human, even though you seem like you're way out of touch. But I want to go here with you, right?
Okay.
Andre, tell me something you fear.
Oh man, I fear failure. I fear somebody depending on me and not being able to come through for them. Right? It's that fear of letting down somebody else. I fear in some aspects of like a level of success. Kind of making me more disconnected and not caring about different things. There are a lot of things that I fear. I fear those things I look at that's uncontrolled, that's unknown, because like I realize that I can't be everywhere at any time or situation. But if potentially we can be like the prodigal sons and realize like, hey, I was taught a certain way, I was raised a certain way, that when I grow up at that point, that I'll kind of come back to some of those beginning ways.
And I want to leave here. I always ask my guests these questions. I am a true believer in God.
Same.
And everything we've talked about on the show today centers around, spirituality, love, giving back.
Yep.
I know how God talks to me. But I want to know, Andre, you as a person, as a man.
Yep.
How does he talk to Andre Swain? Is it a voice? Is it a feeling? Is it an emotion? Is it a reoccurring event?
Yeah.
How does God talk to you?
It's a feeling and emotion. God will convict you and change you in a way that nobody else can. And sometimes he'll show you. Right. We love to talk about signs and wonders and other stuff like that from a biblical religious point of view. But the way that God speaks to me is changing my mindset. And then there's things that, like I always talk about like this, right? Like think about this. The most powerful thing I can say is, God, continue to bless me to be a conduit. People may say, why do you say conduit? Right? A conduit, a pipe. Right? And I want to be a larger pipe, not a small pipe, because that means things are flowing through to me, right? It's flowing through me that I'm an enabler, right? And that means I'm moving something to somewhere else.
Right.
So those are convictions that will manifest, that God will just show up, right, and show out for you. But it's definitely do that. And then it's the other part of it is just love, because we have compassion and empathy, and that we feel for people. And the greatest part is that I feel like that the greatest gift that God ever gave me was that I can walk up to somebody and I'm not judging. When you met me today, I didn't think nothing. I did. I'm not gonna lie. I judge you, sir. You judged me because of my color. Yeah, but
I sure be.
But it's also not having like that mentality just to be judgy. You know what I mean? Just come in and be a humble, cool person.
Yeah.
That no matter what you are, station, wealth, status, class does not
Right,
matter.
Right. You know, yesterday was MLK Day, though.
Yes.
I gotta do better.
Oh, you oh.
It was MLK Day yesterday. Judge the man for not to Hey man, I want to say thank you, man. Grab that coffee cup, man. Thank you so much, man, for coming to join me today, having coffee and a conversation with me today. And one more time, man, go ahead and tell the audience where they can find you if they want to be a part of your organization.
Yeah, so you can find us at omegalawcf.org. Go out there, partner with us, sign up to that mentor. We'd love to have you. And just know that, hey, we work in beliefs. This is the way we think about it. We're not motivational speakers, but we work to that and ensuring belief right within our youth. That's the way we look at it.
All right, guys, y'all know we about to get up out here, but y'all know y'all can go ahead and go to buyloveyoufirst.com. Go ahead and buy that coffee right there. We got it out there on sale, right? Buyloveyoufirst.com. We love you guys, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this conversation. I want to thank Isis Jones for stopping by the show today. Also, thank the great Andre Swain for spending his time with me. And make sure you guys go ahead and follow him, y'all. Y'all know how I feel about you. Boy, I love you. See you guys next time.